This game right here is really, really bad. No, but seriously, I've played just a few hours and I've already seen all there is to offer. I've watched other people play it later into the game and thought surely the game gets better, but no. No, it certainly does not. I'm not even going to make a proper intro for this review because the developers can't even be bothered to make a proper game themselves. So just listen to why Redfall is really, really bad. Well, let's start with the good of Redfall though. It must do some stuff good, right? Well, it has a cool opening. You get to walk around a ship with loads of magical water. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I can say positively about Redfall. For about 5 minutes, the game had me think, well, this game doesn't look as bad as, everyone is saying, but oh boy, I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Other than that, the soundtrack can sometimes be cool, and I guess the Hollow Man sounds cool when he speaks in the background, but that is really it. Just nothing. Emptiness. Boring. If you were expecting another masterpiece from a studio like Arkane, who have produced some great franchises such as Dishonored, you're going to be very disappointed here. That's all I can say. I mean, I only played this game solo, but even if I played it in multiplayer, I still don't think it would be fun. And I mean, every game is fun multiplayer, surely, but there's nothing in this game that even tells me that will be fun. So Redfall, what have you got for us then? Oh wait, this game has heroes with different abilities? Well, I mean, Overwatch has some heroes with some cool abilities, so maybe there will be... No, they're all boring, and really, really cringe. Oh, the voice lines. The voice lines are cringe, none of them have anything interesting to say, none of them even have a cool story. So this is Arkane's first mistake. In what world does a vampire shooter have to be a hero shooter? They instantly lost some of my interest, because there's not a core character they can build around. Instead, we have these 4 pointless heroes who are all boring, who are all cringe, and there's not one particular story that one of them can follow, in which we feel sympathy for them, in which we feel like we can connect with one of them. No, instead we have 4 boring characters, and I emphasise the word boring. All of them. I've only played as one of them. Just by playing with that one for a few hours, I can tell you that the others will not be any better. But surely, they must at least have some cool abilities. Well, you see, that's where you're wrong. Because their abilities are not even interesting and you don't even need them in this game. Why don't you need them, I hear you asking? Well, it's because the game is just so easy. I played on the normal difficulty, which in other games would still provide somewhat of a challenge. But in this game, no. Every encounter is the same thing. Run into a battle with a shotgun and wipe out all the enemies within 5 seconds. A vampire might spawn, so maybe add on an extra 5 seconds that you'd use to take out that. None of them provide any threat other than when you've already fallen asleep because you're so bored of playing this game. This is all hilarious, because the game even tells you at the start of the game to attack areas and scenarios in different ways. Arkane's previous work would let you believe that this was possible, with Dishonored as a shining example of a game that lets you attack a level in multiple different ways. But in Redfall, it's only plan A. Run in, shotgun every enemy, do the objective, and leave. I wish I could say it tried anything else, but in my 3 hours of gameplay, that is quite literally it. The gunplay is also pretty lackluster, with a bland selection of weapons, and of course there's a forced rarity system, which to be quite honest, has absolutely no place in a game like this. Weapon sounds are also pretty mediocre, and don't even get me started on the animations. Another thing is the AI. The AI in this game, it just doesn't work. You can stand right in front of an enemy and not even be noticed. There were times where I was sprinting into areas and the enemies couldn't even hear me. The lack of quality in the AI makes the game even easier, as the strategy I mentioned of just running into every fight works even more due to the AI having the reaction times of a drunk snail. The main type of enemy are the vampires, and even they don't do anything. All they do is just teleport around, making it really frustrating to even hit them. I can honestly say that this is one of the worst AAA games in terms of its core gameplay. I mean, how can you actually make the concept of fighting vampires boring? Finally, and what I believe to be the most disappointing part of Redfall, is the open world. Much like the rest of the game, at first it seems kinda cool, but we only have to look at the first mission to realise that it falls flat. You see, this mission has you run across the whole map. In a good open world game, you would have to take a specific path, whilst the game shows you the dangers of the other areas of the world, which builds intrigue and builds your desire to explore the world. Or, they would leave the other side of the map off limits until a later stage. However, in Redfall, they not only let you go to the other side of the map, but they show that you can do it safely in any way possible. There is no threat in the world of Redfall. It's mostly just a barren, endless expanse of nothing, with the same looking buildings all over the place, and a few enemies here and there. Here is a clip of me just running into a new area of the map. Look how boring this is.
Hey, safe house.
That clip to me just perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with Redfall's world. I ran for 40 seconds there in one of the most dangerous areas, which is the main town, and saw absolutely nothing. And then I ran out to a cinema, which is a place for an objective, with no enemies around it. I mean, they could have at least put something, some sort of challenge. But anyway, I will now list off a few things that are not the sole reason that this game is bad, but help to pile on the misery. Number 1. Pretty bad graphics, as you've probably seen from this gameplay. This is a AAA developer, and for 2023 standard, the graphics are terrible, but I personally don't really care about the graphics too much. But once again, it's one of them things where there's just no redeeming qualities, even in the graphics. Number 2. The fact that this game has achievements with uneven gamer score. This is so annoying, as it means you have to play the game more to become even again. And I just really don't want to play any more Redfall. Number 3. This annoying thing at the start of the game, where you have to speak to every character in the hub area before progressing. Like, I really don't care what they have to say to me. I just want to try out the game. Number 4. Hard to understand objective markers. This is pretty self-explanatory. The game doesn't do a very good job of showing you where the objectives are. Number 5. Bad animations. And if you watch this clip here, it makes you look like you're gliding through the hub area. Lastly, let's move on to the story. And now let's move away from the story. I don't have anything to say about the story, as I have no idea what's going on. And I don't really want to listen to any of the audio logs to understand it. Another day, another studio lost to making poor and unfinished titles. Before this, Arkane were one of the only trustworthy studios, but whether it was Microsoft or Arkane involved here, it's fair to say that this game has not performed as expected. I didn't even mention this game having poor performance, because it didn't even surprise me, and I was too busy falling asleep while playing this game anyway. This is a game that does nothing right and has no redeeming qualities. At least with other poor launches, you can hold on to a bit of hope, but with Redfall being a new idea rather than an established franchise, I don't see any way back for this boring open world vampire shooter, even if Arkane support it in future. It's for these reasons why I give Redfall a 35 out of 100. I cannot recommend this game to anyone, and I actively insist that people do not waste their money or storage on this game, as it's truly not worth it. If I were to sum up Redfall quickly, then it would fall into that range of games that are not so good that they're worth playing for their quality, and it's not so bad that it's fun to play because it's funny. It's in the middle, and ultimately it's bad because Redfall is just really boring, and that's how it became gaming's latest failure. But oh wait, this game is a popcorn machine that I can fix. Now this changes absolutely everything. Let me just go fix it real quick, as I complete this tedious objective. And there we are. We can finally enjoy Redfall, with some beautiful popcorn. And just for that, Redfall now gets a 40 out of 100. Finally a game with a popcorn machine. I've waited a very, very long time.